the December 3rd regularly scheduled Board of Education meeting. Thank y'all for coming out tonight. We'd like to welcome Smyrna Elementary School. Ms. Reva Lewis has got some students going to lead us with the pledge.
I'd like to welcome Everly Wade and Dawson Rose, both in our kindergarten class at Smyrna Elementary, and they are going to lead the pledge this afternoon.
Awesome. Thank y'all for coming.
She has a dress on.
Their dress with a little flag.
Hey, great job, y'all.
All right, we have some little certificates.
Pictures, whoa, we got pictures.
We've got some pins and some plaques, paperwork.
Y'all did a great job. I'm proud of y'all.
Great job.
And you got a cool dress.
Your dress is awesome.
Really cool dress.
Flags.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, okay. Okay.
Good job, y'all.
Thank y'all very much.
If you will stand or remain standing. Dear Lord, thank you so much for bringing us all here safely tonight. And thank you for time with family and friends over Thanksgiving. And everyone got back to their routine on Monday. All these educators that are making it through these last few weeks before break. Please let us make wise decisions tonight, have thoughtful conversation, and let it benefit the students of the system. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank y'all for coming. So I'd now like to recognize our newly elected and sworn-in board members. These members will have been sworn in earlier tonight by Clerk of Court Ken Raper. So we have Nathan Chambers, newly elected District 3. His term expires in 2028, sorry. Katie Statler, re-elected District 2, term expires 2028. And Mr. Kevin White, newly elected District 4, term expires 2028. So, congratulations. And now, Mr. Paler.
In accordance with Carteret County Schools Board of Education Policies 2200 and 2210, an annual organizational meeting for the election and qualification of officers will be held at the regularly scheduled December meeting. The chair of the Carteret County Board of Education shall perform all duties required by law or by board policy for the office, shall preside at the meetings of the board, execute all documents on behalf of the board as approved by the board, approve the proposed agenda for board meetings as prepared by the superintendent, and perform any additional duties as authorized by the board. The chair shall have the same rights as all other board members, that is, to introduce and or second any motion or resolution, to participate in discussions, and to vote on all matters in accordance with the Roberts Rule of Order. Nominations are now in order for the chairperson for the Carteret County Schools Board of Education.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to nominate Miss Katie Statler as our new chair.
I'll second that.
Okay, Katie Statler is nominated. Are there any other nominations? Okay, nominations are closed. As a formality, we would need to vote on Miss Katie Statler as the board chair. All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. So I will pass the meeting back to Ms. Statler.
No problem.
Thank you all. The vice chair, in the absence of the chair, shall perform the duties and have the obligations of the chair and shall have such other powers and duties as the board may determine. Nominations are now in order for vice chairperson of the Carteret County School Board of Education.
Mrs. Chair, I would like to nominate Clark Jenkins as our vice chair.
And I'll second that.
Clark Jenkins is nominated. Are there any further nominations? The nominations are closed. We will take a motion to vote on Mr. Clark Jenkins. All in favor? Perfect. Mr. Clark Jenkins will be vice chair.
Very good.
You know where we are.
I mean, you want to?
Sure. Why not? Let's play music with it.
We are now going to recognize our U.S. Presidential Scholar candidates. I believe we have Ms. Heather Boston, Director of MTSS, AIG, and Ms. Allison Dees, Director of Career and Technical Education.
Good evening. We are excited to be here today to recognize our U.S. Presidential Scholar candidates. The U.S. Presidential Scholars Program was established by President Lyndon Johnson in 1964. Since then, it has honored over 8,000 outstanding high school seniors. The program's mission is to recognize and honor outstanding high school seniors and thereby encourage high attainment among all students. Per the original executive order establishing the program, students are selected based on outstanding scholarship qualities. For most of the program, nominees have been invited to apply for recognition based on their SAT or ACT scores. As the program has grown, candidates have also been invited to apply in other ways. Beginning in 1979, students who demonstrated ability and accomplishment in visual and performing arts or creative writing were added to the program. Since 2013, chief state school officers have been invited to nominate candidates from their states for the general component of the program. The program is also partnering with several recognition organizations that each nominate candidates for the general component of the program. And beginning in 2016, Ms. Allison Dees got to join me to recognize outstanding students who demonstrated excellence in CTE for recognition. We will begin by recognizing the general education nominee. If you don't mind standing when we recognize you, and then at the end, we'll bring them up together, if that works. Okay. All right, our general education nominee is Savannah Tyndall, and she is a senior at East Carteret High School. She is the captain of her cheer team. Her pom-poms are in the car if you want to see a routine. She is a reporter and vice president of the National FFA organization. She is co-president of the Interact Club, a member of student government, National Arts Honor Society, and the class president for grades 9 through 12. While highly engaged in her school activities, she also has maintained 15 hours a week as an assistant manager at Island Proper Outfitters. In addition to that, she has gotten all A's in school, so she's the one you want to sit next to, with a weighted GPA of 4.5 and an unweighted GPA of 4.0.
Awesome.
And I would like to recognize Isabel Hall. Isabel is a dynamic senior at West Carteret High School, and she is forging an impressive path both inside and outside of the classroom. Her outstanding journey with Skills USA has earned her the honor of serving as a regional officer in 2024 and a state officer for 24-25. Not only has she secured first-place victories at the regional, state, and national levels, but this past September, Isabel also had the extraordinary opportunity to attend a prestigious Skills USA Washington, D.C. Leadership Training Institute, where she sharpened her leadership skills on the national stage. At West Carteret, Isabel's leadership shines brightly. She is a member of the National Honor Society, the National Technical Honor Society, and the West Carteret Marching Band, where she leads as brass captain and section representative. She also proudly represents the trumpet section in the Carteret Collective Sound. Isabel's dedication extends to the academics as well, maintaining a stellar weighted GPA of 3.7 and an unweighted GPA of 3.5. Isabel's passion, drive, and commitment to excellence continues to inspire those around her.
job.
Congratulations.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
There you go.
Like if you said my GPA. We would now like to recognize the 2024 North Carolina Honors Chorus High School students. Introducing them will be Mr. Ashton Humphrey with Croatan High School and Mr. Jeffrey Danielson, West Carteret High School chorus instructor.
Good evening. The students here tonight earned placement in the NC All-State Honors Chorus. From Croatan, we have Jasper Kelly, Avery Soren Price, Aaron Mackey, and McKenzie, Kara Marsh, Ryan Chesko, Derek Smith, Jaden Suey, Gabe Harden, and myself, Nick Williams.
And from West Carteret, we have myself, the president of the West Carteret Singers, and our vice president, Ms. Alexandra Vasquez.
With the help of our directors, Mr. Humphrey and Mr. Danielson, we prepared a collegiate-level song and sight-read an advanced musical excerpt to audition. This is the largest number of students Carteret County has ever had selected for the prestigious state-level honor. Students prepared an advanced set of repertoire for the clinic with the choral conductor from Yale University, culminating in a performance at the North Carolina Music Educators Association Conference in November that was held in Winston-Salem. Tonight we will perform two selections for you, Silent Night and Carol of the Bells. Thank you.
All is
to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, hip-hop, raising the sound, forward and down, telling their tale. Gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding dong, ding dong, that is the song. Ding joyful ring, all years will come. Ding dong, ding dong. Sweet silver bells, all seem to sing. All cares away. Christmas is here. Ring the cheer. Do you have the knock? Ding in the ball. Ding dong, ding dong. That is the song. Ding joyful ring, all caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pop, raising the sound, over and down, telling their tale. Gaily they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding dong, that is the song. Ding joyful ring, all bells bells. Ding dong, ding dong. On they send on without end their joyful tone to every home. Ding dong, ding dong.
Hey, that was awesome, y'all.
That was,
Proud of
I'm
y'all.
so proud
That was
of every
awesome.
one of you. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Y'all did a great job.
Still got goosebumps.
I know, it does. It gives me
Yeah, I have
goosebumps.
goosebumps too, man. It's awesome. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, guys. Great.
Thank you so much.
job.
That was amazing.
That was.
Always my favorite part of the December.
Me too.
Now time to consider the approval of the meeting agenda.
Ms. Chair, I move to amend the agenda to add a new section 7A, which will be a closed session to consider confidential student matters and a matter within the attorney-client privilege pursuant to GS 143-318.11A, subsections 1 and 3.
We have a second.
I will second that.
All in favor? Now we need a motion to approve the updated agenda.
I make a motion to approve the meeting agenda as amended.
I will second that motion.
All in favor? Now time for our public commenting. Anyone present tonight wishing to make comment should have filled out a request to speak public comment form. To ensure civility, relevance, and time management, there are specific requirements for public comment set forth in school board policy. They include: comments are limited to matters pertaining to public education. The speaker shall state his or her name at the beginning of his or her comment. Speaking time will be limited to 3 minutes per person. A meeting timer will appear on the TV screens in the bottom corner. The timer will beep when there are 30 seconds remaining. It will then beep a final time when your time is up. For civility and decorum, no speaker shall make obscene remarks or issue personal attacks or insults. No complaint against a school employee or student will be permitted, although this may be heard in closed session at a later date following consultation with the superintendent. Much information about individual students, including a speaker's own child, is confidential under state and federal law, and we discourage and often prohibit such information in open session. The chairperson may immediately terminate any comments that violate these rules. Board members will not respond to questions except occasionally to request clarification. With that, our first speaker tonight, thank you, is Ms. Margot Burke.
Thank you. My name is Margot Burke, and I am the Deputy Director of the Carteret County Board of Elections, and no, it's not over yet. In saying that, I am also the proud grandmother of a junior student at Croatan High School named Madison Reese. And my reason for coming here tonight is to question the unexcused absentee policy with regards to educational opportunities within this community. Okay? Madison Reese asked if she could work with the Board of Elections this year. She wants to become a political science person, and this is of interest to her. She had to get approval from the principal at Croatan and also her mother and me. Anyway, so she did get that approval. She was told at the beginning that this may be an excused absence, okay? Madison Reese prides herself on not having any absentees. And when she chose to take on this endeavor and come and work with the Board of Elections, she really hoped that this would be excused, and so did we at the Board of Elections. Madison attended an 8-hour class with us to go over the procedures and policies of running an election, okay? She was there for a solid 8 hours. In that time, she learned about the ever-changing statutes that are always changing, the behind the scenes of what it takes to run an election. She had a 65-page manual that she had to take home and process and read. She was taught hands-on procedures on voting, what is it called? Now see, I've lost my mind. Checking in a voter, doing provisional votes, doing curbside voting, everything that any other precinct official does, okay? This is also a paid position, all right? On election day, she worked 14 hours, all right? She did every position that any other of our precinct officials did. We were most proud of her because there's only been 2 people since 2008 that I know of that actually did provisional ballots on their first time out. And that is a very lengthy process for the voter as well as the precinct official. She did not, she was never told anything, but I called the school and said, hey, was this excused? Was it not excused? It was not excused. We're never going to get another teenager to ever come and work with us and learn the voting process if these kids don't even get an excused absence for this. Maddie spent her entire childhood never having missing a day, and she was very proud of that. And this semester, she has not missed a day until these 2 days. So I'm requesting that you think about the educational responsibility that you have for these children, these teenagers, to come out and learn our voting process. We need younger people to be in those seats, okay, on election day, at early voting. We need our children to understand the process. It's not as easy as you think. Madison Reese was awed by everything she learned. And I want other students in this county, I want to be able to go out to the schools, either myself or the director, and go out and talk to the students about this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all want to talk to me, you know where I'm at.
Thank you. Still busy. Now we need to approve the consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve, the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Good. All in favor? Thank you. And now it's Mr. Blair Propst for some policies.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
All right, for second read policies, these policies come from the North Carolina School Board Association Fall 2024 update packet. The revisions reflect modifications to state board policy, federal and state legislation, and any judicial precedent that comes out of case law. The selected policies before you for second read were just minor changes to wording, legal references, and cross-references. There was no substantive changes to that content, and there was no additional changes since the first read. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I make a motion to consider the policy revisions for second read. To approve them, I'm sorry. I missed that.
Perfect. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, for first read, these policies come from two different update packets. The first set, which is policy 2127, member board technology, that's actually technology use, is actually a new policy before you. And then 3220 is technology and educational program. These policies come from the spring 2024 update. 2127 it merely provides guidance for the board members in the use of the school system technology, which essentially mirrors the same language in the policy for our employees. Policy 3220 adds information to that current policy on how the district is going to address artificial intelligence in the classrooms. The remaining policies come from the School Board Association Fall 2024 update. Those revisions, again, reflect modifications in state board policy and federal law, state and federal law. I only noticed one policy of interest to highlight to the board, which I understand was discussed at the most recent School Board Association training, and that's policy 2302, and that's remote participation in board meetings. This is just a reminder that that information came from a North Carolina appeals case that determined that board members may attend a meeting remotely, but they will not count towards a quorum for that meeting. So unless it's declared a state emergency. So just bring that to your attention. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about those policies.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Great job, Blair.
Now we have Ms. Julie Bernatsky for budget amendment number 3.
Hey, Julie.
Evening. Okay. Tonight I have budget revision number 3 up for your approval. It's a revision to the state budget in the amount of $653,000 and a revision to the capital budget in the amount of $3.7 million. And there is a detailed budget amendment details attached to the journal entry that you guys have in your packet. Any questions?
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the budget amendment number 3 for 2024-2025.
I'll second it.
Perfect. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have Mr. Mike McKay for our proposed 2025-2026 school calendar.
Good evening, Board, and welcome to Mr. Chambers and Mr. White. I'll welcome you to the Board. That time again, as we look at our school calendar, looking at our building process, we create a video here to get over the rules of the calendar creation and the laws that go along with that. We send that out to principals, then principals typically take that to their SIT team, and then they take it also to their parent advisory to get feedback. From those SIT reps, teachers and staff give feedback to those SIT reps who then bring it back to the SIT team or school improvement team. Our school leadership team could be the way, depending on the school that you're looking at. Principals then take it to parent advisory, and then the SIT team give feedback and the parent advisory to the principal. Principal then puts that in a document that we have here for central services. We compile that, and then we take that to our cabinet and look at each one of the things and literally go, they have a blank calendar except for the legal holidays and the annual leave that's typically around Christmas and Easter. And then we look at that, and then we see how many of those things that we can make the school recommendations actually happen for them. So looking at that, as we look at that school calendar requirements, we know the general statutes that comes from North Carolina General Statute 115C 84.2. And that basically tells us these following things. So it tells us that we have a start date no later than the Monday closest to August the 26th For the 2025 calendar, that would be August the 25th. The end date no later than the Friday closest to June 11th. For the calendar year of 2026, that would be June the 12th. Covers at least 9 months. Has a minimum of 185 days. To be honest, between August the 25th and June the 12th, you cannot get 185 days and include the legal holidays and leave that they have for you to have that. So we have to go with 1,025 hours of instruction. And then from the very first day that teachers report back to the last day that teachers are here, regarding of anything in between has to be no more than 215 days. That's a pay contract thing for teachers. And then school shall not be held on a Sunday, and then Veterans Day is an actual legal holiday for all public school personnel and for students. Looking at that, the workday and holiday requirements, must have at least 9 teacher workdays. That's a minimum of 9 workdays. That's whether they're optional or mandatory. A minimum of 2 workdays where teachers may take accumulated vacation leave. And you say, well, what is that? That's an optional workday where a teacher can take leave on that day if they have the leave. A minimum of 10 annual vacation leave days. Those are typically taken around the Christmas break and around the traditional Easter break that we typically have, 2 weeks around Christmas and then a week at Easter. And then the same or equivalent number of legal holidays per the State Personnel Commission for State Employees. That's 11 holidays during the school year. Labor Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, there's 2, Christmas, there are 3, New Year's Day, the Martin Luther King birthday, Easter Monday, and then Memorial Day. Building upon that and looking at a calendar from the school's recommendations, this, I'll kind of start in August and work our way down through that. It would start us at August the 13th. That and our school principals have asked, please don't make that a mandatory day on the county office where we have PD. You have new staff. It's very awkward when you come as a principal and you don't even get to see your staff before they go off to county PD. So the first day is a mandatory day in the school. That's the reason that's that dark blue on the 13th. Following that up on the 14th and 15th, starting the school year, there's a lot of work to be done with teachers from the curriculum instruction staff. They are typically going all over the place in every direction on those 2 days. And typically we're quarreling a little bit professionally of who needs that day and what hours and what time we can have them because there's so much to be done. The 18th through the 22nd would be school days. Their SIT team would choose whether if those are mandatory or optional days for them. Student first day would be on the 25th. See that first holiday on September the 1st for Labor Day. Coming right after starting school, we'd have that early release on the 24th. Got into school, we've got rolling. If we've got any new programs, those things, it's a great time for C&I to come back and do a re-dip with some things, making sure how things are going, kind of do a temperature check with schools. If we have any new programs or new things going on, how is it going? What can we do to help you? Going into October, the 13th, mandatory red day, that would be, again, for district PD. Looking at the 31st, their early release there, that is simply an early release there around the Halloween timeframe from an elementary school perspective. They asked for that almost unanimously. Looking at November, would have that legal holiday on the 11th for Veterans Day. Looking at coming to school on a Monday, taking off a Tuesday, and then going back for 3 days didn't make a whole lot of sense to us. So looking at putting an optional workday there on the 10th. Coming down to Thanksgiving, again, I think it was 2 years ago, we moved from having an early release day on that Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving to an optional workday. Staff really liked that, especially staff that needed to travel, families that needed to go out of town, those types of things. So that remains there for that optional workday, and then you see those 2 legal holidays there. Coming down to December, 19th early release, but that is not the break in the semester. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Then you come into your Christmas break, some of annual leave, some of those 3 legal holidays, and then also your legal holiday there for New Year's Day. High schools would come back 5th through the 9th, as well would all of our students. And then for high schools, they would kick into exams on January the 12th, very similar to this year. 12th through the 16th. Then 2 red days. Really, that training would be district training, but it would be focused on middle and elementary schools. If you've ever worked in a high school, it's starting a whole new school year over. That's the reason those 2 days are back-to-back there. And even though it makes a nice little longer vacation for families, it's really needed for our high schools to turn around basically to start the year over again. Starting in new semester, the 22nd, coming down into February, again, breaking up a little bit of that time, February the 16th, optional workday. Again, SIT teams can decide how they want that. The 25th, having that early release day for staff development in the schools. Coming down March 16th, again, a little bit of a long stretch, so looking at that optional workday there, 1 month from the one in February on the 16th. Looking in April, on the 3rd early release day, there prior to the Easter break. We do move the legal holiday from the Good Friday to that Monday in order to give a continuous week there. And then on May 1st, you may say, well, why is that on a Friday and why is that an early release there? That is for our Employee of the Year celebration that we have, and allows our principals to be out of the buildings and as well as our Employees of the Year to be at that celebration and be able to celebrate with those employees. Coming down to the end of the month of May, 25th, that Veterans Day holiday, and then coming into the last week, 10 days out, elementary and middle would start exams, and then 5 days out from that end date of the 4th, high schools would start exams. And then that last day, you may say, well, why do you have a school mandatory day? For high schools, that's graduation day. And graduation, putting on graduation, you need all hands on deck. As well, when you take up technology at the end of the year, our ITFs and media coordinators really need some help getting all that back in place at our other schools as well. So that is a request of the schools to do that. And then your 2 optional days at the end of the year on the 8th and 9th. As you see, legal requirements over on the side, that does meet everything that we went over for the requirements for the calendar. As well, you can look at the top. That is the instructional hour calculations. That is taken out for the early releases, so that is actually the actual number of hours that you have. As you can see, all of them above 1,025. At our minimum, we have 1,064. Any questions, board?
I know you guys are given a ton of rules and then very little wiggle room, but love that you take into consideration all the input.
Have you, do you get a lot of feedback from the staff, our teachers? I mean, on like exams in the middle of January? I mean, we're sort of beating a dead horse, but 3 weeks off, 2.5 weeks off, and then 5 days and going into exams. How does this help kids be successful?
When you look at our high schools overall, the biggest thing they want is a balanced set of semesters.
Right.
So that puts that in the middle of January. Otherwise, you're looking at a 10-day short semester, that first semester, and then a 10-day longer in that second semester. That's really hard for pacing and consistency on a high school teacher part.
Sure.
Would they love for it to end at December and have equal semesters? Absolutely, but that's where we're at with the calendar along with their suggestions right now.
And if I could jump in on that, we've heard from teachers who really, truly need to have a balanced semester to be able to get their content in. And so then when you look at 81 days to get something in, pull back 5 days for exams, it's just really hard for them to get it in. Most certainly, coming back after Christmas break and having a week is going to be hard. But they were willing to do that, to be able to teach at the standard of excellence that they're used to doing.
Right, and I've heard that from teachers as well, that they wanted balance. It breaks my heart that we have to do this anyway. Another question I was going to ask, how does the exam week correlate with the community college starting school? Is that problematic? Are we having issues there this year? And if we're maintaining the same calendar next year, are we going to have issues? How is that working?
Looking at our students right now, I believe it was 5 students, if I'm remembering correctly, that it overlapped, that was hands-on, if you will, CCP or CTE classes, that they needed to be in that classroom in order to be able to do the class. A lot of our students are online classes, so they could do it at any point during the day. It's not necessarily live instruction. For those 5, all of our principals have worked with those, but it does definitely make an overlap, starting there at January the 5th through the 8th. And then, obviously, college is not in on the 9th, so there's really 4 days of overlap. And if all 5 of those kids have either an A or a B and are eligible to be exempt from exams, so really those 4 days were the days that we were looking at for them. Would it be better for them if they could start fresh? Absolutely.
Do we have more questions about this calendar?
So how about our calendar?
Yeah, so you probably have not seen this, but we asked for a alternative calendar to look over. And it's not exactly like this calendar, but I think it allows us to shift a little bit into August and get our exams more in line with where they should be. It gets us more in line with the community college, and it is a little bit better for our students. And I'd like for y'all to look at it and sort of get some feedback on this.
This is just a 1-week shift.
Correct, just a 1-week shift, that's all it is. But I think that it would be a tremendously beneficial calendar to at the very least explore.
So what I'm looking here, on the 19th, it says the end, let's see, it says end third, 6, what does that say? Barely read them. So I guess my question is, can they get the exams in at that point by the 19th?
Yeah, it looks like they'd be 83 and
What?
83, but that doesn't it says 83, but that doesn't.
Zoom in on the phone and read it. It says end third, 6 weeks in second quarter.
91.
So that would allow the exams to take place before winter break.
But more importantly, I believe this would line up better with the community college, and it would benefit the students, which is ultimately what we're here for. is-
You know it benefits students because we've already been told if the schools were underperforming, the first thing we would have was calendar flexibility.
Correct, correct.
And we'd have even semesters, 83 and 83, is that right?
That's what it appears like.
So we'd come back 5 days earlier and get done 5 days earlier.
Correct.
Yes.
I think it's definitely something to consider. We're not voting on this tonight, so something to discuss, but I think this is unanimous what our teachers want to.
Yeah, I agree, and what I'd like for the board members to do is I'd like for y'all to dive into it, and if you have questions, maybe ask Mike, or, let's really put some thoughtful due diligence into this, because again, our job is to do to the best of our ability what is best for our students, so I think that's a good way to proceed with this.
I think we need to reiterate, though, for the public, what, in this calendar, so the 18th of August being the start date,
Correct.
the 29th being graduation day, right? Or the 28th being the last day, the 29th being graduation day.
Of May.
Of May. And then the first semester ending on the 19th of December. I'm just saying this so it can be heard, because they can't see it, so
they
I
can,
want, yeah.
Get a true break for Christmas.
So basically, it is a 1-week shift.
And there's
Or 5-day
83 days in first semester and 83 days in second semester.
Madam Chair, just listening to your discussion and looking at the current calendar proposal, just not
Do
to
you like
also.
one of these, just to see it? I know you hadn't seen
I
it.
think I'm good with where, I think I'm following you. The only thing I want to make sure that we also note is that on the 20th and 21st, that break between semesters, if we moved the exams to the 19th, ending the 19th, those days would need to move to the 5th and 6th. I know the board wasn't super crazy before when we had a super long break, because when you look at high schoolers, that could put them out 3 weeks if they're exempt. But you've got to have those 2 days to change over for a high school schedule.
Okay, so we're talking in January, having that long break again, returning January 7th.
Well, I think if everybody could get exams and go over to the community college, if they graduate early, it would be worth the 2 days.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mike. Excellent job.
And Madam Chair, are we looking for a presentation next month? And you want a secondary presentation with the calendar changes that you guys will share with us?
I'll say yes.
Thank you.
Now we have bond project updates with Mr. Taylor.
So not much has changed since last month on the update. The punch list continues at Broad Creek Middle School. It's mostly in the mechanical equipment, changing out some valves and parts that needed to be changed out. East Carteret High School, that project has started in the culinary lab. Mostly right now they're doing, they're tearing down and removing some asbestos, so that's just getting started. And at West Carteret, that project is moving along nicely still. The band room is nearing completion. The HVAC equipment is installed in there. We're fingers crossed that what's going to be whether we get in or not over Christmas break is some doors. So we're waiting on some doors, and we're not quite sure when they're going to come in. The new science and ROTC wing is coming along nicely. They started on the roof panels there today. The brick is going on the outside, so that's moving along. And then the other projects, the mechanical and electrical work continues, and that project still remains on schedule. So it's a very complex project. I say that every month, and if you go there and look around, it is very complex, but it's going to be really nice when they're done.
Thank you.
That's all for the bond project.
Now board comments from you.
Okay. Good evening. First of all, congratulations to our newly elected and re-elected board members, as well as to our new chair and vice chair. We're excited to collaborate and work with you in advancing for the success of the students of Carteret County Public School System. A big thank you goes out to the honors corps students and their directors for the selection to the 2024 NC Honors Chorus and for tonight's holiday performance. And coming from someone who can't sing a lick, I really appreciate it. What they did, it was amazing. Additionally, I'd like to extend recognition and congratulations to Broad Creek Middle School Band and their director, Mr. Dave Stroud, for the wonderful performance at the 2024 NC Music Educators Association Annual In-Service Conference. I attended that last month in Winston-Salem, and their performance was outstanding. I would say better than most high school bands in North Carolina. It was truly tremendous. Congratulations also to the Carteret County Public School System Foundation. And several of our schools were receiving grants from the Big Rock Foundation on Giving Tuesday this morning at Big Rock Landing. Thank you to Big Rock Foundation and to the CCPS Foundation for continuing to support our schools. Please note that our next regular board meeting in the new year is scheduled for Tuesday, January 7th at 6 p.m. Finally, I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving filled with good times and food. As we head into the holiday season, I wish our students, staff, and board a very Merry Christmas. I look forward to the new year where we work together to engage, educate, and empower our school community, creating a brighter future for all of our students. Thank you, and we look forward to our continued progress together. And Mr. Chair, this concludes my comments.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from any board members?
I'd just like to say welcome to the two who were sworn in today, and Stephanie, you're basically new also, so welcome to the three of y'all. I'm fired up about next year, and excited to get some positive things done, so.
Thank you.
It's going to be our word for 2024.
Fired up.
Fired up.
Fired up. We
Fired up.
Some shirts made.
I've done that for him, actually.
I do want to tell them what kind of shirts we'll be getting.
It's a tank top.
Yeah, it does.
And I
Might
do
wear
want to thank the West Carteret Culinary that prepared our dinner tonight. It was
Dynamite.
amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Very good.
as always. The next regularly scheduled board meeting will take place Tuesday, January 7th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And this meeting will be live streamed on our YouTube channel. We have a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second that motion.
Perfect. All in favor? Thank you.
Okay.